Hello. Trading has closed on the 28th of November 2022. We always begin with our disclaimer. This is my trading plan for tomorrow, which is the 29th of November. Please remember I can be completely wrong. Any trade you make should be at your own risk. I said last week that someone complained he tried to order an electronic copy of my book, The MEJT System, from the publisher, Harriman House. The publisher has written me and said there was a problem with the website. I'm told it's been resolved, and if someone wants to go to this web address and order an electronic copy, I'm told it should be possible to do it now. I've tried to see about paper copies, but they used to be available on Amazon for some time, but apparently they're all sold out and it's out of print now. So you have to get an electronic copy if you wish to buy the book. Well, we always say I can be wrong in my calls. I made this whole big speech about how lower prices were coming, and I thought that the rally leg might be over. And then for some strange reason, I said that likely last week's low will hold. Someone pointed out to me that the rest of my speech was implying last week's high was supposed to hold, which is what I meant, but it's not what I said. So in spite of all my other preamble, I'm not certain how much credit I deserve for the call, even though we did drop. Today's pattern has the early low, tomorrow has the early high. We had some targets from last week, 39.8503, 39.6856. Those both printed, and there was support resistance at those levels, so we do get to cross them off the list. We have a new target, 39.8019, and unless we gap down smartly, the rules call for it to print. Now there's always a catch. Catch is this could be a major change in trend. I suspect it is. And if there's a major change in trend, MEJT almost always leaves a failed target behind, even though it's not one of my rules. I think it usually happens. So if this is a major change in trend, I'd actually be happier if that didn't print. But there is support here, which we'll go over. And if we do rally, that would be the target. Well, early on, we got an ultimate buy signal. You don't have to get more than the minimum, which printed immediately, but almost always you do. So almost always we're going to go over this high before tomorrow closes. There was also an optional lower target, and that printed. We had another ultimate buy signal in the afternoon. All we got was the minimum. Almost always you get more than that by tomorrow. You don't have to, but both of these say almost always you'll trade over those numbers. And there's also a failed target. It hasn't failed till tomorrow's close, but it's a higher target of 39.8019. If it fails, it fails, but that's what it says. And we've been waiting for a pullback to this gold trend line. That's been accomplished, so we don't have to wait any longer for that. And we got rid of these lower targets too. Here was your diamond on stilts. Resistance just over the left stilt that held. We've now dropped to a Fibonacci target of the pattern. It's support. Support doesn't have to hold though, but at least it's support. Now I'm conflicted as to whether I should call that a cup with handle sloping down. I guess you could call this a cup, and if it's supposed to be a sustainable drop, handle's supposed to slope up first and then drop. I really can't see that. I don't think that's enough. And if that's the right interpretation, this whole thing's supposed to retrace, but I'm aware of it, but I'm not totally convinced that's the right way to interpret this. We still have this count that has us possibly topping out here. Here's the other count. Now you can see that we dropped to, but not through this important trend line. And when you have a straight line drop to, but not through a trend line, either you gap under the line or the line wins. So if we don't gap under today's low, I'm assuming any decline is going to retrace to the line. Well, tomorrow's pattern has the early high. We could still gap down. Typically, it's a rally day. Failure is a straight line drop. Now, I'll tell you, we had a straight line drop today, and back-to-back straight line drops don't happen all that often. So it's another reason to think there might be a recovery tomorrow. There's a higher MEJT target. Unless we gap down smartly, the rules call for it to print. There are also two ultimate buy signals, which at some time, almost always, deliver more than they have so far. We have a day-long decline, couldn't manage a close under the midday low, and that's positive unless we gap and promptly undercut the low a day. I mean, you look here, the dotted line's the close, and that held. So all this business in the last few hours didn't accomplish anything. MEJT almost always leaves a failed target at a major change in trend, which this has the potential to be. Accordingly, one may choose to use the higher target as places to look for an entry for a short rather than to go for longs. If we're to continue the decline on the beta, we should gap under today's low. And if we don't, the chances for a counter-trend rally are real, even if I have no enthusiasm for playing it without more signals than I have now. If this really is the end of the line here, you can certainly have a counter-trend rally. It's just harder to figure out where it's going to end. And if this is a major change in trend, we have much lower targets. If you're a nimble trader, I think you could still try it. But my current plan is to look for places to go short, and I could change that plan tomorrow, but that's my plan for now. So tomorrow has the early high, a good chance we get a rebound. There are higher targets, but this is still a candidate for the end of the line for the bear market rally. And that's today's call.